fifth grade. This video is for April 20th. Today we're going to start off with some review of adverbs. I'd like you to get out a piece of paper and number it from 1 to 5. You don't have to put your name on it. You're not going to turn it in. I want you to take a look at these 5 sentences that I have on the board. There's an adverb underlined in each sentence. I would like you to decide what word the adverb is describing and if that word that's being described is an adjective or an adverb. So all you have to write is ADJ for adjective or ADV for adverb. So you're looking at the underlined word, you're figuring out what it's describing, and then you're figuring out if the word that's being described is an adjective or an adverb. And then just write ADJ or ADV next to each number. So go ahead and stop the video and read the sentences and then write either ADJ or ADV on your paper. All right, you should have answered each of those, so let's take a look. Number 1, the sky was really dark. So really is describing what? It's describing dark, isn't it? It's really dark. And dark is describing what? Yes, it's describing the sky. It's a dark sky. So dark in this sentence is an adjective. So the adverb really is describing the adjective dark. Okay, you with me? All right, let's look at number 2. Black clouds moved rather quickly across the sky. Okay, so rather is our adverb. What is it describing? Yep, it's describing quickly. Quickly is describing what? You're right, moved. It moved quickly. So in that case, quickly is an adverb. So rather is an adverb describing another adverb. So the word that's being described is an adverb. How quickly? Rather quickly. So quickly, I'm going to go ahead and circle these. That might help a little bit. So dark is an adjective. Quickly is an adverb. All right, I draw an arrow, but kind of far away. Number 3, thunder cracked unusually loudly. Okay, unusually is describing what? Yep, it's describing loudly. And loudly is describing cracked. Yeah, it cracked loudly. So again, we have an adverb describing another adverb. Okay, I hope this is making sense to you. Number 4, lightning flashed incredibly close to the house. Okay, so incredibly is describing what? Right, it's describing close. It's incredibly close. And close is a what? That's right, it's an adverb. It's telling us where. It flashed where? It flashed close. Okay, circle that one for you. And the last one, lightning can be somewhat dangerous. Okay, what is somewhat describing in this sentence? Yeah, it's describing dangerous. And dangerous is describing what? Yes, dangerous lightning. So dangerous is an adjective describing lightning, so that means dangerous is an adjective. Okay, I hope that's helpful to you. Remember, adverbs can describe adjectives and verbs and other adverbs. Okay, now we're moving on to today's concept, comparing with ER and EST. Adjectives can be used to compare 2 or more nouns or pronouns, and adverbs can be used to compare 2 or more actions. So take a look at sentence number 1 here. Today's thunderstorm was loud. Is loud an adjective or an adverb in this sentence? You're right. It's an adjective. It's describing the thunderstorm. It's a loud thunderstorm. How many thunderstorms are we talking about here in this sentence? Just one, right? It's not being compared to anything else. Okay, let's look at the next one. Yesterday's thunderstorm was louder than today's thunderstorm. So how many thunderstorms are being compared in sentence 2? 2, right? The one that happened yesterday and the one that happened today. And then in the third sentence, Saturday's thunderstorm was the loudest of all. How many thunderstorms are being compared? More than 2, right? It's being compared to all the thunderstorms that have happened. So notice when we're comparing two nouns or actions, we use ER. We add ER to the end of the adjective or the adverb. And then if it's more than 2, like in sentence number 3, we add EST to the end of the adjective or the adverb. So ER is used when we're comparing two nouns or actions, EST when we have 3 or more nouns or actions. Now we're going to check our worksheet from yesterday, and then we'll go on with the workbook page. Okay, before we take a look at the adjective and adverb worksheet, I want to go over the answers to the adverb worksheet that you did a little while back. I forgot to go over those answers with you, so I want to give you a chance to see those and to check that worksheet. So I'll move it on up so you can see all of the answers, and go ahead and stop the video if you need to. And one of your very observant classmates caught me on that. Sorry, I forgot to show you those answers the other day. Okay, so this was the adverb worksheet. All right, the last worksheet that you did was the adjective and adverb worksheet. So take a look at those answers. And again, you can stop the video. Okay. Hope you did well on those. All right, now we're going to move on to today's workbook page 239. Workbook page 239, comparing with ER and EST. Let's take a look at the top of the page. Adjectives can be used to compare two or more nouns or pronouns. That's what we were just talking about when I was showing you those sentences on the board. Adverbs can be used to compare two or more actions. Short adjectives and adverbs add ER or EST to compare two or more nouns or actions. Okay, so for most of them, if they're short words, we can just add ER or EST. So take a look at the example. Whirlwinds are small spinning air columns. Nothing is being compared in this sentence. The spelling of the adjective small does not change, okay? So it's just a small spinning air column. And you know, reading about whirlwinds made me think of a story from the Bible. I wonder if you know what story I'm thinking about. Did you figure it out? Okay, if you said Elijah, you're right. We find the story of Elijah in 2 Kings. And remember, Elijah was one of God's prophets. He was a mighty prophet during the time of the kings in Israel. And it was coming toward the end of his ministry, and he had, remember, chosen Elisha to be his, substitute, or Elisha was going to take over after him. And so he had told Elisha had asked for a double portion of the spirit that Elijah had had. And Elisha had told him that if you see me as I'm being taken from you, then you will get a double portion. And then in 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 11, it says, as they still went on and talked, behold, chariots of fire and horses of fire separated the two of them. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. And here's a picture of that, what it might have looked like. We don't know, of course. But God took Elijah up into heaven in a chariot of fire and a whirlwind. And Elisha did see Elijah go up into heaven, and so he was given a double portion of Elijah's power. And Elijah was used mightily by God to help turn the Israelites back to him. God calls each one of us who are followers of him to spread his message, doesn't he? And to spread the good news about Jesus. Okay, so let's go on to the next part. The sky was redder today than yesterday. So here, two different skies are being compared. Today's sky is compared to yesterday's sky. And so ER is added to the end of the adjective. Fastest is an adverb that describes how fast the sandstorm moved compared to all other sandstorms during the month of May. This sandstorm moved the fastest of all storms during the month of May. So since it's comparing more than two things, we add EST. Now we need to look at the spelling rules. The spelling of some adjectives changes when adding ER or EST. The spelling of most adverbs does not change. When an adjective ends in a consonant and a Y, change the Y to I and add ER or EST. That whirlwind was dustier today than the one on Monday. So since dusty ends in a Y, we change the Y to I and add ER. When an adjective ends in E, drop the E and add ER or EST. The tornado wind picks up larger items than a gustnado does. So we drop the E and then we add ER. When an adjective has only one vowel and ends in a consonant, double the final consonant before adding ER or EST. We saw the heat whirlwind on the hottest day of the week. So we have to double the T in hot and add EST. All right, so when it comes to writing adjectives and adverbs and adding ER or EST, spelling definitely counts. So you really have to be careful and make sure that you spell the words correctly. Let's take a look at the guided practice. Number 1, they want us to write the ER and EST forms of the adjective. So the first adjective we have is strange. I heard a strange noise. Okay, now we're going to add ER. This noise was stranger than the other noise. Okay, so we're going to add ER. So we're going to do what? Right, we're going to drop the E before we add ER. We don't want stranger. And then we have to add EST. This is the strangest noise I've ever heard. So again, we drop the E and then add EST. Strange, stranger, strangest. Okay, next we have wet. The dog is wet. The dog is wetter today than it was yesterday. Maybe it's been out playing in the sprinklers. Okay, so remember, we have to double the T. The dog is the wettest it has been all week. Double the T and add EST. Okay, Today is cold. Today is colder than it was yesterday. That's actually true today. Add ER. It is the coldest day this week. Okay, we're comparing more than two things, so we add EST. We're comparing it to all the days of the week. All right. Next part, they want us to underline the correct adjective or adverb. So number 4, landspouts are stronger, strongest than gustnadoes. Well, we're just comparing two things here, landspouts and gustnadoes. So we're going to underline stronger, right? When we compare two things, we use ER. Number 5, today the skies were the reddest during the afternoon. Reddest, right? Good. Number 6, the air was clearest today than it was yesterday. Clearer, right? Comparing the air to from today to yesterday. And then number 7, whirlwinds throw sand highest than normal winds. Higher, right? We're comparing whirlwinds and normal winds, so two things. And then number 8, the whirlwinds came earliest than the storm. Earlier, right? Okay, very good. All right, so if you're not sure, you could just go back and reread the explanation up here at the top of page 239. All right, let's take a look at what you're going to do today. You're going to do the independent practice. So the first part, you need to write the ER and EST forms of the adjectives. Make sure that you spell those correctly. Next, underline the correct adjective or adverb. And then the third part, write the correct adjective or adverb form. So look at the word below the line in parentheses and decide if you need to add ER or EST to the word. And then the last part, apply and write. Write a sentence about rain, comparing two things or actions. And then write a sentence about snow, comparing more than two things or actions. All right, that's all you're doing today. You do not have to do the worksheet.